Are you guys ready for me to start?
Yes. Woo!
I'm going to show you a few images, and when you look at these images, I want you to look at them very closely. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Okay, pay attention to these images and how you're feeling when you look at them. By raise of hands, how many of you felt some sort of sense of wonder or awe when you looked at these? Okay. I've actually just performed an experiment on you. And this experiment was to see how these pictures affected you in a way that you felt this sense of awe or wonder. Scientists at UC Irvine have actually defined this word awe. And it's defined as that sense of wonder we feel in the presence of something vast that transcends our understanding of the world. Some questions that they asked when they were researching this was, when people feel a sense of awe, does it cause them to be less self-centered? Does it cause pro-social behavior? An experiment was done where a group of people were asked, they were brought out to the wilderness, and they were asked to look up into the grove of trees for 1 minute, just 1 minute. And this is what their view was. They looked up for 1 minute, and after this, they were asked, what was your response to this? And after only 1 minute, their response was that they felt smaller. They felt less self-centered. They exhibited more caring and generous behaviors. When we feel awe, we go to a state of small self. And when we are in that state of small self, we go to it promotes more pro-social behaviors, which are ethical behaviors, generosity, and helpfulness. Now, there is a lot of, there's a lot of information out there that talks about this feeling of awe, but there's also a lot of scientific background about this feeling of awe. This here is our parietal lobe. And what that is in control of is our spatial sense of ourself and our physical world. Now, researchers have found that awe actually shuts this down. Decreased activity in this area means that we lose the boundary between ourself and objects in this world, ultimately resulting in a sense of oneness and connectedness. A neuroscientist further researched this, and he found that awe is actually felt by our autonomic nervous system. And what our autonomic nervous system is in charge of is it controls our arousal and calming mechanisms, also known as our flight and fight mechanisms. So usually when our autonomic nervous system will only fire one side at a time. But what this neuroscientist found that during intense spiritual experiences such as meditation, prayer, and even feeling this power of awe, that both sides of this system fire up at the same time. When we experience awe, there's a hormone that is released in our brain, and this hormone is called serotonin. And this serotonin is also known as the feel-good drug, because what it does is when it's released, it lowers our levels of anxiety. And when that lowers our levels of anxiety, those anxious feelings are replaced with happiness. There have been many researches or studies done on this topic. It's still being researched because because there's still so much to find out about it. But for the last 12 years, there have been studies at the University of California, Berkeley, and what they've found has actually given us a clearer understanding of what awe is. They after many studies, they did one similar to what I did with you earlier. They gathered a group of people and they showed them all of these images. And after showing them these images, they asked them, what ran through your mind when you looked at these? And a lot of the responses that they got were, I want to make the world better, or I feel like being quiet, and even I want to purify things. And this is interesting because something so simple as looking at a picture provoked these feelings from people, that they actually wanted to make a change in the world. Because this power of awe is, it's everywhere. And we need to seek after this feeling, because science has actually proven that it is so simple. All it takes is 1 minute of looking at a beautiful landscape, 1 minute of looking into a baby's face, or 1 minute of looking into a grove of trees. All it takes is 1 minute for us to feel love towards each other, for us to want to serve each other, for us to feel more generous. All it takes is 1 minute, and with that 1 minute, we can change the world. Thanks.